Hi, welcome back to the free Ayurveda mini course on your ideal daily routine. My name is Anna Welly, and your host. So the first video, we talked about an overview of what Dinacharya, or the Ayurvedic daily routine, looks like. And we tapped into the different Ayurvedic doshic energies, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and what it looks like when those go out of balance, and then what it looks like to have a preferred expression or experience of the doshic energies in our body, mind, or emotions. The second video, we talked about proper meal timing and rhythmic eating and how that influences the digestive process, how you have a healthier gut, stronger digestion, and how it balances the doshas. Takes advantage of harnessing your pitta and strengthening your pitta, your digestive power, and also your ability to detox in the middle of the night while you're sleeping to wake up fresh and clear and prevent any imbalances from eating too heavy or too late. And then the advantages of rhythmic eating and how that balances Vata dosha and how it enhances your digestive power and your healthy gut as well. So today I want to talk about your evening routine and how, when we're aligning to these different energies throughout the cycles of the day, we want to tap into the energy of Kapha dosha from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. at night. So during this evening time, we experience more Kapha. Kapha is the energy that arises from the elements of earth and water. So Kapha by nature is grounding, it's heavy, it's slow, it's stable, it's wet or moist, it's cool, it's damp, it's creating the stability in that experience within our body, mind, and emotions. And so in the evening time, we notice that things are starting to wind down for the day. The energy is slowing down as the sun begins to descend and we move into darkness. And when we start to sync up with this, when we have our earlier, lighter dinner, and then our evening is a little bit more free to support us into kind of coming into this Kapha energy, slowing down and winding down. It's a time to rebuild and replenish and resource and really nourish yourself to create more of this Kapha energy. And what that does is, besides making yourself feel replenished and resourced and more resilient and really and rebuilding and resting in that way, it also helps then to alleviate too much Vata or Pitta. So if we don't have this Kapha, if we're not tapping into this evening time where we're slowing down and getting into an evening routine, we're going to experience either too much Vata, which is feeling overwhelmed, feeling scattered and flurried and even kind of frantic or flustered, or feeling anxious or worried, or having a sense of it's hard to like ground and focus, or it's hard to fall asleep, or it's hard to stay asleep, or maybe it's hard to keep on weight. Maybe they're underweight, or too dry, or too kind of the energy is going up, and out, rather than contained and centered and held. And so and having excess Vata doesn't just mean that you're underweight either. You could have excess Vata where you're hyper all the time and on the go, and you're kind of in the mood and on the go all the time, or you're anxious, or like you never give yourself time to slow down. So you might actually crave that through food, through comfort food, through sweets, through pasta, through bread, through, name whatever your comfort food is, because that comfort food is the experience of Kapha, of being soothed and grounded and slow and steady and stable. And so if you're not tapping into the Kapha energy and you're going for comfort food instead, that's where then weight buildup could happen due to high Vata. So by tapping into this Kapha energy in the evening time, we're supporting that balance of excess Vata, and then the same thing with too much excess Pitta. So if instead, if we're in this Pitta mode of like, go for it, get it done, or like, all right, I'm just going to do this little bit of like answer, just a handful more emails, or get the stuff done. Once, now the kids are asleep, I can just kind of tackle all the stuff for the day. If you're too much of like get it done mode and not into enough rest and digest mode, too much of that pitta fire is going to burn out. It's going to burn you out. It's going to deplete. It's going to create autoimmune dysfunction or adrenal fatigue or thyroid dysfunction, or just feel depletion, exhausted, tired, that there's a lack of that like good, healthy pitta radiance and glow that's held by the containment and the nourishment of kapha. So when we tap into this kapha energy, what we're doing is we're just finding a way in our evening routine to honor this part of the day of slowing down, of feeding things that nourish us. And it doesn't just have to be food. It's feeling nourished in a way by life, by connecting to your loved ones, by reading a book, by going outside, by going into the garden, putting your hands in the dirt, going for a walk, going into the river, leaning up against a tree. It's finding 5 minutes to sit in meditation, or do a gentle yoga practice, or practice yoga nidra, a specific kind of yoga that helps you go into deep relaxation and rest. It'd be a really awesome way to just like really tap into this kapha energy and really harness it and amplify more of it in your life. And so the more that you bring in this kapha energy, the more that you build up this subtle essence of kapha, the more you're also building up your immune system and your ability to be resilient towards things outside of you, or things that want to, invade you, germs or viruses or something like that. Ayurveda looks at it differently, where it's like when you have this very cohesive, integrated sense of self, your resiliency can fend things off. So building up this kapha, it's also a good way to feel this kapha energy, as I mentioned in video 1, is like, rather than feeling overwhelmed, it's like, wow, like life feels really interesting. Or maybe there's a lot going on, but it's just like, this is fascinating. Or isn't that it's intense, but I can handle this, or I'm going to get through this, or I can lean back and I can trust. I feel held, so I can surrender into the path of life that is unfolding for me. And so that's a good, healthy experience of kapha being held and resourced in your body, rather than being stressed or overwhelmed, or just feeling that like that sense of almost even like being shattered would be a lack of kapha. So to do that, I want you to think about what sounds good for you. Number 1, of like what you need in your evening routine to feel well nourished and well rested. And then number 2 is, what time does your body need to go to bed in order for you to get the rest that you need? Because the other piece about this is like, as you're winding in, the sun is setting and the day is winding down, and you're tuning into this kapha energy, and you're allowing yourself to get grounded and just kind of come into this slower mode. You're supporting yourself to go into sleep, to fall asleep easier and fall asleep faster, and get that deeper rest that you need. Particularly if you're sleeping from 10 to 2, then you're tapping into that pitta energy, where you're going to get that detox experience, and the body's going to be this like deeper level of healing gets to happen. So what time do you need to get into bed to get the rest that you need? And then if you take a step further back from that, what time do you need to start your evening routine in order for you to get into bed in time for you to get the rest that you need? So what do you want to have in your evening routine? What's important to you? So things like maybe a 5-minute meditation practice, or a 20-minute meditation practice, or time to journal and process the day, time to digest everything that happened before kind of going into this place of like emptiness of sleep, or yoga nidra, or taking a shower and doing abhyanga, self-massage, which is a really healing kapha practice of rubbing oil on the body and just like that touch and connecting with yourself. So kapha very much is about this like sensuality and pleasure. and really being deeply in the body. It's very much of in this like physicality and the lusciousness of you and that lusciousness of life. So in what way can you experience more of this, this richness and this fullness of life in yourself, and find that comfort and that deeply nourishing experience? I would like you to figure out what your evening routine sounds good for you, and then again, figure out what time that needs to get started in order for you to get into bed at the time that you need. And we want to start small. So you can visualize a big ideal evening ritual, and then just break off one little piece that you're ready to implement today. And then you get to watch the benefits unfold from that one piece at a time. And that's another thing that we practice in my online course, Soul Body Bliss, is how to do this in a way that's sustainable and easeful. It's not an overnight transformation. It's taking small steps that are practical to implement until you become consistent with doing the small step, and then you get to add in more. So tomorrow I want to talk a little bit about morning routine and morning rituals, and what's most essential, what's most important, and how you're tapping into that Vata energy of the day. So how to take advantage of the Vata energy and use it to your strengths, and how to really then feel centered and grounded and contained in yourself as you kind of like set the tone for the day ahead, and what's most essential for that. All right, I hope that's helpful. Step into the Facebook forum to share your takeaways and your insights, and to get a little bit of bonus content.